Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
While Ethan Armbruster has one hand solidly on the AM title, three drivers have a chance for the pro title, four depending on how drops fall. Chris Murray took the win last time out at Snetterton and holds an 11-point lead over Ryan Goff, who would have been higher had it not been for a penalty in last week's race. Don Botts is a point behind Goff, but yet to claim a win. Brennan Latta is that fourth driver. He has 109 points, but may sneak into a good position as he sat out the last two races, so doesn't need to take that drop. It's the last race of the season. One more time to make your presence known in SUPERLAP F4. We're across the street from the Leeds Buc-ee's, next door to one of the greatest Bass Pro shops in existence, the place that Forrest built. It's the Barber Motorsports Park, live and in color on Apex Racing TV. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're watching this broadcast. My name is Jeremy Scott. World Traveler Charles Bochel's back with us, and he's alongside. And that crunch you're going to hear sometimes in your ear, that's Jonathan Grabowski in the Beaver Nugget-filled truck next, giving you pictures and sound live and in Memorex. All right, we're just about 5 minutes left in qualifying, and an interesting development. Eric Halsman is out there, and he's really climbing up through the charts.
Yeah, absolutely. I come back, and we're still waiting on Eric to set a qualifying time. And look at this. Last race of the season. He's out there in P11. Got a few more minutes left. Maybe improve his starting position, and let's see what he can do when he actually starts from somewhere other than P last. And this is a very difficult track, so we'll be watching as I'm watching this from about 15 minutes away from the actual track.
Yeah, I absolutely love this facility. One of my favorites. And you don't see the little doll hanging from turn number 7. That's a funny story, actually. You remember when that doll fell off the overpass, right?
Of course.
So my wife and I were watching the IndyCar race before the before our Porsche Sprint Challenge race. And I'm like, all right, I got to go. I got to pack up. So I threw everything in the car, walk back to the media center, and everybody's looking at the TV. I go, what the heck's going on? They're like, oh yeah, the doll fell. Just fell right on the track. I'm like, oh, okay. So that's cool, because I remember doing the track walk. I was like, oh, I got to take a picture of that. But it's interesting for people who watch it on TV and have never been to Barber. The pictures don't do this facility justice. The elevation changes are real.
They are indeed. Yeah, it's we see this in iRacing a lot, is you don't get there's a couple of things that the simulator can't really simulate. One is the G-forces, obviously, that feeling in the seat of your pants when you're out there driving laps, and then the elevation changes. This is a very hilly course. It's a very hilly little area of the world. So they use the natural elevation to build this track. Obviously designed originally as a motorcycle track, and obviously probably one of the greatest motorcycle museums, sitting right there just on the other side of that walkover, sitting down there by that little chicane that they like to call a corkscrew, but I refuse. The corkscrew is reserved for Laguna Seca, but is a fantastic facility. I love coming out here to watch races, and we'll have to petition iRacing to get the doll added in as a update to the Barber track.
Just about 2 minutes left in qualifying. Max Kaiser with a 22.7. That's the time to beat. 22.8 by Ryan Goff, your provisional front row so far, as we're waiting to see what Holtzman can do. No better so far than 12. Actually, Ethan Armbruster, your AM points leader. And again, I think the way I'm looking at the points, as long as he takes the start, the AM championship is his, because you take a look at the points difference, it is almost 40 points between Ethan Armbruster and Joel Campbell. Armbruster so far with 2 wins on the season, I should say, a second and 2 thirds. So really, he's been the class of the field in AM. We'll talk more about the points later. But your fastest AM so far is Joel Campbell's. We see a couple cars spinning there, heading into Charlotte's Web. That's very easy to do. It really doesn't matter what kind of car you're in.
Yeah, that is a touch point there on this track, is that hairpin in the middle. Very difficult. You don't really see how that corner just kind of falls away from you. And once you come over the crest of the hill and you start working your way around the hairpin, it kind of falls away. The water, when it rains there, drains into that outside edge, and so you start losing a little bit of that camber. Which there's not a lot to begin with, that is, and once again, I've seen so many different cars spin there during the course of a racing session, so does not surprise me that we'll see a couple cars do the same thing there, and a couple other spots we'll have to look at. 2 and 3 is a little bit of a trouble spot, and then that final corner is sometimes very difficult to get right.
Really is. And of course, we're on the checker flag lap, so these times will count. Halband with 23.3, so that's his best time. Get him into the top 10. We've got Yevon Walters off into the gravel trap through there. Kaiser goes purple in sector 1, so he's out there to try and see if he can get an even faster flying lap. You see him heading into the switchback of 9 and 10. And that is such a perilous section as well. And really, here's what I love about Barber. You get one section wrong, and it's going to be just game over, period.
Yeah, it really is. There's a lot of grass out there, but it doesn't slow you down quite as much as a gravel trap. There are a few in some of the faster sections, but yeah, it's a very difficult course to get right. Obviously, in iRacing, not really used that often. It's picked up a little bit more, but it is down on the bottom of the list of track usage for the iRacing service.
22.7 out of Kaiser, goes purple first and last sectors, as Halsman comes across the line. 23.3, not going to actually, looks like he did have a little bit of an off-track penalty, because that would have been good a little bit further up in the field, probably about 9th, but still would have just been swapping places on row number 5. It is that time for warm-up, and located, as I pull up my spots here, located on the world-renowned Woodward Avenue in Berkeley, Michigan, SUPERLAP is a sim drive studio space to meet and compete With professional race racing simulators, they are a premier racing and drive experience venue. They will help you achieve your motorsports goals in education, practice, and training. Many of your favorite racers use the sim. Why shouldn't you? You can race and practice against an AI roster, go head-to-head with other humans, or both. They also offer league play like the DRSCCA League. Go to superlap.world for details. Looks like we're taking 19 today to the 30-minute feature, but first, we've got to warm up. All right, this is an absolute banger of a racetrack, as we mentioned. You mentioned several of the difficult sections. One that really sticks out in my mind, and this is going to come into play in the first lap, especially because when I was there commentating, that was, if you remember, that was the big USF Juniors crash at the start coming off the rise in T4.
Yeah, absolutely, and that is once again that first sector is a little hairy, especially at the beginning of the race with the track with the cars bunched together. Turn one, you have to be pretty spot on there. You can't take too much of the inside curb. You definitely can't take any of the outside curb. It's just going to drag you into that grass and into the concrete runoff. 2 and 3, once again, elevation change, the name of the game there. A lot of camber in 2 and 3. It doesn't really show on the track. Excuse me, in the sim. As I hack up a lung there. But there is a lot of camber in 2 and 3 that helps you carry a little more speed through, and then you start climbing the hill back up into 4. You rise over that crest, and you have to have that line pretty much spot on to get your run down into 5, and then you're going to break right over the crest into 5, which is going to lead into some issues, especially with cars with no ABS. So you're going to see cars with lockups there, especially on the front as they're downhill braking zone. Get through 5, get your run down here into 6, 7, and 8 into what I call the museum chicane that runs right down to the bottom of the track, right over by the museum. You get that run out as you see Cortez here. You get the run out, and then you get the small little run up to that switchback, 9 and 10 through here, and you have to be right on it, carry a little bit of curb on both sides, maybe feather the throttle just a little bit. And we get the run down into the tunnel turn as where the track, come into the inside of the track surface. Carry that around. Be very careful here through 12. Make sure you get your line right. Don't carry too much speed. You'll be off in that grass, and it's hard to recover. Get the final 2 corners around the pit entry. Pit entry is a little dangerous. Hopefully we won't see anything about that tonight. And then that final corner, once again, real easy to push wide if you get back on the throttle too fast, and that will be a lap of Barber.
I keep thinking about the time when I was doing the track walk of, obviously as an announcer, you go through the different points with your co-announcer and you think, okay, well, this could be a problem. This could be a different issue here. You're talking to the other drivers. Doesn't matter what series they are. If you know them, obviously you're going to be like, hey, what do you do here? What do you do there? But there was one point on the back side of the circuit, and I want to say it was 11 and 12, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it was 11 and 12. Joe Peak and I actually came across Will Power talking with his engineers, and it was interesting talking about, okay, right here you should be flat out, you turn here, you set up for the corner here, and then he asked, okay, well, what about Joseph and Scott? Oh yeah, they're flat out here. It's just the difference in between. And if you ever get a chance to do a track walk, it doesn't matter what circuit you're on, I highly recommend it. But something else about this facility that differs from most racetracks, not only around the country, but the ones that we go to here in the sim, those apex curbs are a little bit higher because, as we said, this is a motorcycle track. So you had it set up to where these riders could either get a knee puck or an elbow puck down and kind of push off of the apex.
Yeah, absolutely. They are a little bit higher than what you would normally see at a standard road course. But that's kind of the charm of the track, and you're talking about the track walk, and that's one of those things that the driver will pick up on as he's out there walking around with his engineers. Oh, this is a little higher than I'm used to dealing with, and so this is probably something we want to avoid or at least account for as we're going on during this race. And I've seen these these curbs have a tendency to kick you back into the middle of the track. So it's not something that you want to use a lot of during the course of the race. So I don't think you'll see a lot of drivers really attacking the curbs here, especially in these F4 cars.
No, you're not going to see them attack the curbs, especially. You might see them touch it, but if you attack it, you're going to be on top of that flat part, and boy, is that going to be a mess and possibly a lap over for you as you make your way around. To fast time so far, as you see Max Kaiser up at the top of the 23.0. 23.0 also by Brendan Lotta, 0.05 seconds separates your top two. And wow, 23.4 for Max Kaiser now going to the top. I think Max is really trying to show that he can be the class of the field today in spite of only not being here. He has one win on the season and a second place, so he's already, anytime he runs, he's going to be fast as they start practice.
Yeah, somebody didn't get the memo. The green car came through there a little bit faster than maybe the 14 of Brennan Lotta, just a little faster than he really wanted to. And yeah, so get the practice start in, work their way around through turn 5. Not really sure why they chose that spot to get the practice start, but they've got it done for the most part. And we even like to call it at qualifying times, from P1 from Kaiser down to Halsman that was in P10, I think it was only 0.6 of a second. So there's not like there's a big gap. This is not the longest track in the world, as you know, with a 1:23 lap time. So the qualifying times are a little more constricted, and that's probably going to help, and that's going to help keep these cars, maybe a little bit closer together for a little longer during the race, as they can use the draft with the other cars, and maybe somebody gets a flyer and can work his way up using the draft to pick up a few positions and may change somebody's fortune here tonight.
Well, last week I told Alexa, she Les Marshall's in for you. I told her, I'm like, you know what? This could go either one of two ways. This could go either great or could be absolute mayhem. She goes, well, why would you talk like that? Sure enough, lap 1 of Snetterton, it was absolute mayhem. So unfortunately, because of the way this facility works out, I fear we might be seeing more of that, but hopefully these drivers will get it out of their system early, and we will see another great epic race like we saw at Road Atlanta, because this is just Road Atlanta. There's not as many places to really pick up the speed, because by the time you pick up the speed here, you're already downhill and getting ready for the next corner.
Yeah, once again, it's a pretty short track in comparison to where we would normally run. And yeah, I did not get a chance to see the race, but knowing Snetterton as I do, I've called several races there, and there are a couple really tricky spots on that track that if the driver's not paying attention will catch you out in a hurry. So yeah, we get through lap 1, I think, cleanly. And I think we'll be in for a good race, but we just got to be a little patient at the start of this, get everybody lined up, nose to tail, single file as best we can. I think we'll be in for a good one tonight.
Of course, thank you to the Michigan Turn Marshals for their support. If you want to get close to the action, be sure to check out MichiganTurnMarshals.org. They can train you to support races like the Detroit Grand Prix, and heck, even eventually you can go around the country, maybe even around the world. Heck, even maybe go out to Las Vegas and do the Formula One race. So the possibilities are endless. Just about a minute left in this practice session, and a couple drivers getting out there for their first time, kind of getting their race set up all together. Still Max Kaiser at a 23.4 for the fastest time so far. It's just warm up, so not too much to worry about. But nonetheless, I think this is going to be an interesting venue for the last race of the season, especially for a junior Formula Series, because it really teaches you all about car setup and how to keep the platform under you.
Yep, absolutely. That's what you need here. You need to keep. You need to work on your your patience, your racing line, your throttle control, some good solid braking without overdoing it. Obviously, there's a couple of spots here, as we talk about, with the elevation changes in braking zones makes it a little bit more challenging. But this is a very good track to cut your teeth on. and just spend some time working some laps here and really get a feel for it. So I think we are done with the warm-up session, so it's time to race.
It really is. If you're watching us on the stream, feel free to pop in the chat, ask us a question. We've got 30 minutes of racing. Still, anything goes here on the Apex Racing TV chat. You see the cars gridded up? Well, it's time to read off the grid. They'll have one pace lap and 30 minutes of racing. Max Kaiser, your pole sitter with the 22.722, alongside Ryan Goff in the number 1. Row 2 is Joel Campbell, your fastest AM qualifier, alongside Samuel Scott in the number 11. Row 3 is Zohair Ahmad and Chris Murray. Row 4, Sean Fritz and Brennan Latta. And Charles, you've got Ethan Armbruster with great position alongside Eric Hulsman, rounding out your top 10.
Yeah, absolutely. Sean Gaynor starts in P11. Gavin Walters outside of row 6 and 12th. Josh Mertz starting in 13th. Good morning to Josh from Australia. Archie Woods sitting there in 14th. Tristan Cortez in 15th. William Grayson 16th. Mike Smith starts in 17th. Alex Carter in 18th. And Jackson Olsen rounds out your 19 car starting order.
And we're taking 19, Josh, Aussie, oi, oi, oi. Waterford Hills Road Racing is Metro Detroit's only permanent sanctioned road course located in Clarkson, Michigan. Waterford Hills hosts a 6-weekend race series, competition driving school, and 9 public open track days. The track goes off from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and is open to the public. A nominal $5 entry fee is all it takes to get you close to the action. Check out waterfordhills.com for details, and while you're online, SUPERLAP F4 and SRF is supported by the Detroit Region SCCA. This league would not be possible without the support of the DRSCCA. Log on to drscca.com for more details. And it looks like that they just got done with their season, the SRF. Let's see if I can pull that up. And it looks like Lincoln Olson was your pro champion, with Dustin Dark your AMP champion. So congratulations to those two on the Tuesday night Spec Racer Ford League.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
here's what's
go ahead.
I say here's what's interesting. Lincoln Olson won his championship over Gavin Moore by 3 points.
That's pretty close. Those are very difficult cars to get to wrap your mind around. It has the draft in those cars are just insane. So you get out to a big draft track, and it's just constant passing back and forth, and they're really fun to watch. But they're a little bit of a handful to really get their to get used to driving, because it's all mechanical grip, and it's one of those things that it has even less aero downforce than the F4, if that's even possible, but it is. So great series to cut your teeth on for road racing, for sure.
And of course, it's the Gen 3 motor as well, so just a little bit more horsepower. Porsche pace car pulls off, and we are just about set to go racing. It's Ryan Goff and Max Kaiser who will lead the field to green again. This is SUPERLAP F4 presented by the Detroit Region SDCA here on Apex Racing TV. We're live at Barber, and we it's a long launch to the line, and now we are green as field starts to pop out 2, 3, 4 wide near the back of the pack. How will we fare through turn number 1? Hold your breath. It's downhill. It's to the left, bumping just a little bit in row number 2, but so far so good as they work their way through turn number 2. Everybody making it away, and no problems through the gravel trap.
Yeah, so far so good. Everybody's still on track, and we've got a couple of movers. Not a lot of happening right now as they head their way into turn 5 for the first time.
For position here between Ahmad and Scott right now. That is for 4th place. You're on board with Zohair Ahmad in the phase competition number 78 as they work their way down into turn number 7 for the first time through the museum complex, and everybody now single file. You really can't be side by side through here because it is single line, and now we start to see that battle for 4th place heat up again between Ahmad and Scott.
Yeah, we got a couple of cars back there trying to fight for positions, and this is not the best section there from the museum complex down through that fast left right. Just not really a lot of room for racing there. You just got to be patient. get back around here, open here, and you got more of an opportunity, maybe like make a late dive and pick up a position.
Just like that, we've completed lap number 1. Kaiser, a 0.7 of a second gap over Goff. And of course, Goff trying to get ahead of Murray there, but Murray in 6th place. I'm not even going to do the points today because it is just going to be that close to see who gets where. We'll have to get official word from the Detroit Region SCCA, but that might be later on in the day. So we'll have to figure out a way to let you guys know who is your champion here as we're watching Archie Woods hold off a couple goers for position. Oh, a little bit of smoking contact. There we go. We talked about what will happen to Charlotte's Web. Thankfully, it's a lot better than what it could have been because Armbruster now sitting way back further than what he wanted to. And of course, we mentioned Ethan Armbruster earlier in the show. He had one hand on the championship. Well, that second hand fully grasped on there because now he has a mechanical black flag, and having that almost 40-point gap has saved him from having to worry about what may or may not happen.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's every point counts, and you see the benefits of having a bit of a gap, and that was just a very aggressive move down into the hairpin, and you saw the lockup for the car on the inside. We'll get a replay here from Mr. Jonathan as we're working our way up through and around. This is this is actually turn 14. Final corner coming around, and what am I seeing here? Don't really see anything.
I think we're seeing some position because it was.
Yeah, just seeing some position swapping there, but no contact, and we're going to get another replay. We'll try this part. All right, there we go. All right, here we go. Now we're coming up through turn 4 and making our run down. Grayson now also with a meatball flag, yep, there we go. So Armbruster's in the pits. He's getting his car repaired. Grayson in as well as we are back to live racing.
And John Fritz, who's just, if he didn't have any bad luck, he'd have no luck at all. Looking at his points, I mean, he has finished on the podium twice so far this year, but still, anytime he hasn't finished on the podium, he's either been in the wall, off track, in another car, but nonetheless, hoping for a good finish here, sitting in 7th ahead of Latta and Halsband, as Halsband up to 9th place already. Of course, qualifying will help get you there as Ryan Goff goes in and sets the fastest lap of a 22.88. Of course, every point for Goff is gonna help, and again, not gonna worry too much about the drops right now, but at least one race will okay, so he's got 2 races. So right now Goff trying to race straight up on points.
Yeah, absolutely. He's just trying to finish as best he can, and that's what you need to do week in and week out, is just get the best finish possible. And it's looking down the timing tower, only a couple little gaps that have opened up. The biggest gap, 1.5, and that is from Goff to Campbell. But pretty much everybody else in the top 10 still within a second of the car in front. So still early yet, but you can see the track is helping keep these cars together just a little bit more than what we were used to seeing.
So Zohair Ahmad holding off Samuel Scott, as we mentioned. Watching Max Kaiser also now having a battle for the lead with Ryan Goff. Of course, now I have the points up. I've got to write those down for a little bit, but Goff doing all he can to make sure that he is going to be the champion after a rough outing last time out at Snetterton. He's losing a little bit of ground. It looks like Kaiser still really good on sectors 1 and 2, but like we saw in qualifying, Charles, sectors 2 and 3, not Kaiser's forte.
No, not so much, and you see Goff is really keeping this close, and so we'll see if Kaiser will be able to extend a little bit more, and then where is Goff going to take this, close this gap back down as he's up to 4/10. As we see the run coming down into turn 5, and you see the gap closing a little bit as the draft kicks in, as they're up to almost top speed coming through there, and you see the lock up there by Kaiser, and that's an opportunity for Goff to move to the inside.
And that's exactly what he didn't want, as they're side by side going into turn number 7. But Kaiser has the line going into 7, and indeed he's going to break just a little bit later, set himself up for 7A and now through B. And that's not what Goff wanted, but still he's able to open up a 0.2 of a second gap. So for the time being, move Kaiser to the lead. But how much longer will that last as they work their way through the switchback of 9 and 10? Now the long draft of turn number 11 and into 12. Look at that, lets off just a little bit across over the crest. You see some very hairy situations here, but Kaiser still able to hold on to that lead.
Yeah, the motorcycles get air through there. So these cars, as light as they are, you're really making that car that much lighter when you're cresting those hills. And Goff actually had to lift a little bit. He had got such a good run coming out of that switchback, coming into 11 and 12. He had to just kind of let up. He was closing within a 10th and just ran out of racetrack, and so he just had to back it off a little bit. So he'll get another opportunity, I'm sure, in short order, as these cars are still battling Campbell, Ahmad, and Scott. Still very tight between these 3 cars, as we see that was Ahmad kind of giving a little bit of an inside line there, kind of being a little defensive as they make their way through the hairpin and then down the run down into 6, 7, and 8. Still very, very tight between these 3 cars, and Campbell obviously doing everything he can. I think you said he was second in the amateur points, so he's up there sitting on the podium for the overall, and so he's doing exactly what he needs to do. There's Gaynor
with the spin through Charlotte's Web, and yeah, so we'll see what happened there. I have a feeling it's just the same thing, and indeed he's all by himself. And we talked about that downhill, how tough it is to keep that back end slow, and yeah, the back end just looking to see what the front end is looking at. Real quick, I did a quick search of points while you're talking there, Charles, and as they run now, Christopher Murray has a 5-point gap between he and Ryan Goff. Right now, Ryan Goff 140 to Ryan Goff 135 to Christopher Murray's 140. So really, he's got to lose 5 more spots, or Goff has to go up 1 and Murray has to go down to 10th for this to be really sweating for the number 29, your points leader. So cannot afford to lose too much. Actually, I'm sorry, if he swaps positions, he needs to stay where he's at, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Just finish as high as you can. You can't really control the other cars, but you control what you do, and just get every position you possibly can during the race, and let the chips fall where they may as they're working their way through the museum chicane there. And that's Murray running in 6th position. He's dropped off the back of Scott there, about 1.3, not too terribly far back, but the gap now between Goff and running in 2nd and Campbell is now up to almost 3 seconds. So the front 2 are really pushing the envelope there and giving everything they've got and starting to stretch that gap out.
You got to think the penalty that Goff stopped at Snetterton, if the race were to end now, it would be detrimental for that avoidable contact penalty that Goff suffered at Snetterton. As we see Gaynor get around Carter's, they're a little bit of sideways there, and that's commonplace here in that 2-3 complex. But man, so much great battles as you got 3 great groups running with one another as Walters tries to close in on Halsman for that 9th place.
Yeah, Walters is really putting the pressure on Halsman. Halsman moved up 1 position at the start of the race and hasn't been able to capitalize on anything else. As a matter of fact, he's dropped down behind Latta by about 3 seconds. As we see Goff now with a slowdown, so he's had a off-track excursion there and has got the slowdown penalty. So he's going to have to bleed that off before he gets the black flag. So we'll see here. We get a replay as they're working their way down. I think this is back into the museum chicane again as they're working their way down into 6. That was in 11 and 12, and just carrying too much speed went wide. And that is one of the things you have to worry about through 11 and 12 is you get offline a little bit, you're too far left, or you carry too much speed through there and you're off in the grass.
Now that 0.3 of a second gap is a 1.3 second gap, so that may have cost Goff the championship. We'll keep our eyes on this as we're watching the Campbell Ahmad Scott battle through 2 and 3. Carter gets a slowdown penalty, but no harm, no foul there, as Armbruster is back on the circuit 5 laps down. Your AM champion, professional champion, making his way around, kind of around the champion's flag one last time this season, as we see Ahmad all under the back of that attenuator of Campbell through Charlotte's Web, setting up for turn 6 into 7.
Yeah, absolutely. And Campbell seems to be the cork in the bottle here a little bit. Wolves, whoa, there we go. And that's what you don't want to do there. Way too far left coming into the chicane, and just jumped the curb and went flying through the air and landed in the gravel trap. So that's just a lot of pressure from behind, as Ahmad and Scott were really back there trying to push the issue. And you could just see it losing the front, going in there, had to straighten it back up, and there's just nowhere to go from that point except into that gravel trap on the outside. Luckily, that's there, or he's in the barrier, and that's race done. As we see the 19 car around, that's Fritz.
And Fritz is around himself, so he will get back underway. And all these incidents are just helping out. And once again, just losing it right there on the tunnel, over the tunnel. And that's going to happen. I actually saw a Radical Cup car do that last year.
Yeah, I think I have as well. The Radicals run here yearly, along with the F4 as in the Formula Regionals. So, so as you saw, just way too much speed coming through there, and just losing the rear of the car. Luckily able to save that. There's a lot of room out there, so no real harm, and no real possibility of catching the barrier. So able to recover it and get back on track, but lost quite a bit of time. As Goff is now starting to close the gap back down on Kaiser just a little bit, back down to 1.2. So he is starting to close that gap ever so slightly.
Of course, look at where Murray closes the gap also with Scott. It's 1.3 seconds between the two of them. Kasha on the YouTube stream saying, could things consider in points drop weeks? Yes, we have those. And both Murray and Goff have taken their drops. Botts, I don't see him in the field. And no, so Don Botts out of the championship. So that's going to give Lada a chance to go up into third place.
Yeah, absolutely. You gotta race the races in order to get points, and obviously this is a hobby for most everybody here. So it's we race when we can. If family comes first, and if you can't make the race, it's not that big a deal. But I know obviously Dom probably wanted to at least be here and get a chance for the championship, but unfortunately not tonight. We see Scott looking to the inside here, going into the hairpin. Wisely kind of backs out, leaves Ahmad. You see a little bit of lock up there by Ahmad coming through the hairpin. That's going to give Scott a chance to get a little bit of a run back down this secondary straight here into the museum chicane, but not quite close enough as they come through the chicane, and you can just see he's got a really good line through there. He closed up quite a bit there on Ahmad running in third.
And of course, this is going to be his second drop week because Botts did not race with us back at Sonoma Raceway. So we're halfway through this race, and now Goff is back under 1 second. Still has the fastest lap of the race with the 22.616, 23.708 to Kaiser's 23.666 his past time by. And Goff is almost within that slipstream heading into turn 1.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Kaiser is not running quite at the pace he had in qualifying. So I'm kind of wondering if maybe, as we see Goff running a little wide there, and oh no, we've got two more cars that have just pulled back to the pits. That's Mertz and Woods. And I think we're going to get a replay here from Jonathan as we're on board. This is the little fast section here, 9 and 10, and just way too fast through there. You see Woods losing the rear of the car. And oh no, and you moved as trying to get it rejoined with traffic inbound, and that is the collision there. You see the 2-car in the pits all crumpled up on the front end, and just really not much he could do. He was as far left as or far right as he could go. Obviously, I think he sees it right there. He sees the smoke, and then he sees the car, and then that's pretty much it.
Well, about 9 months, we'll see a new go-kart made out of this situation. So that's always some good news.
Yeah.
C. Gordini, did last week's penalties already get applied to? Yes. The points I have here are after last week's penalties from Snetterton. So they've already been applied, and now we're all good to go with that. Kaiser holding on to a 1.1 second lead over Goff. Ahmad rounds out your podium. Look at how close Murray is now to Scott. That is a 0.9 of a second gap. So Chris Murray, your points leader, has put the nose to the grindstone and wants to get up one more spot. He knows the championship is in his own destiny.
Yeah, absolutely. He's closing that gap down quite quickly, and is going to see if he can get back to the back of Scott there. And what I was saying earlier was Kaiser hasn't been quite up to his qualifying pace. I wonder if he's thinking that we might have to save a little bit on the tires there. Obviously it's real easy to burn the rears of these F4s out. And so maybe he's doing a little bit of tire saving because this is a very tight track, a lot of high G corners. And so maybe he thinks that maybe saving a little bit of tires at the early part of this race is going to help him out at the last part.
You saw the temperatures there on the right side of your screen, 26 degrees Celsius ambient temperature, 40 degrees track temperature. It is a hot one on this Alabama race circuit, as now Goff is a half second behind Kaiser, and we're watching Campbell, Waters, and Halsband battle for position. This is a battle for 7th, and although Halsband's up 3 spots, that's not our highest climber. Tristan Cortez, Mike Schmidt, and Jackson Olson all up 5, whether it be because of attrition or actually making it on the circuit, as now Kaiser has to deal with Ryan Goff around turns 2 and 3. About 2 car lengths separate the 2 drivers heading off into 4.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're wondering if the iRacing weather is accurate, that's about exactly what we had today here in Birmingham, Alabama. So 26 is right on the money. It's currently 8 p.m. local time and 22 Celsius. iRacing weather correct as at least at this point, and obviously clear skies. So 40-degree track temps, not horrible, as you see them a little hot there by the 41 coming across the chicane curbs. You can get away with that. You only want to use 2 tires. You don't want to go 4 as we saw earlier. So that was about as far left as you want to be coming into that chicane.
So on the James Spann scale of danger, we were full suit today, correct?
Correct. Absolutely right.
If you're wondering, Google it. It's actually a pretty funny meme if you are a weather nerd like myself or a Birmingham native. Kaiser, Goff, 1 and 2. That is the battle for the race lead. And of course, right now, because Murray has put himself in a better position, this may, regardless of how Goff gets ahead of Kaiser or if he stays behind, this pass may be for naught. It might be just for pride more than getting that championship.
Yeah, it may be, but once again, you don't want to leave anything to chance. So if you get a chance to make a move, take the race victory, get out in the lead. You never can tell what may happen with Murray. We're still about 10 minutes left in this race, so there are stranger things that have happened. So you don't want to leave it to chance. If you can get that extra spot to tighten that up a little more, maybe Murray's kind of watching the scoreboard and puts a little extra pressure on him to keep his position, maybe make some mistake. You just never can tell. But yeah, it's definitely one of those that you don't want to just kind of lay behind and settle for second if you think you've got the ability to get to the front.
I decided to throw Lada into the equation for points, and right now where he's running in 6, that puts him at 124 points and would put him at 3rd in the championship. So that's something to watch out for, something to play for, is that top 3 in the championship for Lada.
Oh, no.
New battle for the lead. Kaiser spins. Kaiser spins and the final turn. We mentioned how that could cause somebody out, and Kaiser, it has caught him out as he is slowly getting back up to speed.
Yeah, we're going to get a replay here as they're working their way up through the pit entry corner and into the final corner. And I'm going to guess he probably just pushes wide. He does indeed. And that is one of those tricky corners that if you push wide there, it is almost a guarantee that it's going to throw you into that inside wall. And that's exactly what happened to Kaiser. So he's going to pay the price. Luckily for Kaiser, I guess, no meatball, so he's able to continue. And I'm not sure what kind of shape his car is in. I'm going to guess that he's probably missing or at least got a very damaged front wing, but it's still managed to hang on to second place, and it's still got about a 1.3 second gap over Ahmad in third.
Points as they run, still Murray with 141, Goff with 139 with that gift of the lead, and Lada still at 124. So your top three running right now, first, fifth, and sixth, as Hulsman tries to close in on Lada. You're on board with the 255, the HP Racing driver who qualified a season best 10th after being able to show up for qualifying, which this season has been tough for the young driver. Said, work commitments have gotten in the way, but nonetheless able to get out there. And Ahmad, oh no, is Ahmad out? Ahmad might be out with contact. Nope, that was just a blink.
Nope, just a blink.
Okay, he blinked.
Big blink there. Yeah, big blink there by Ahmad, and able to get rejoined, and that's one of those things that you have to be careful of. This is that you don't get many opportunities to blink like that before iRacing will pull you back to the pit lane and until your connection stabilizes. So hopefully his will, as we see Scott really pushing behind Ahmad, trying to keep up. And you see him going wide there, coming out of turn 5, and really pushing the envelope there, carrying a lot of curb through the chicane, and a really big run coming out. Had a good line through there, and has really tightened that gap down. It's under 3/10, and he is still closing. And the draft is going to help him make it that much closer by the time they get to 11 and 12.
Fritz with a meatball flag, so he will have to answer that here within the next couple of laps. But Ahmad trying to hold on to third place. Here's why Fritz has copped that meatball flag coming into turn number 12, or 11, I should say, now through 12. I would imagine it's up and over the ridge. Yep, caught a couple wheels off. And we're going to go sliding around the final turn. Let's see here what happens. That car's a little loose, and yep, there we go.
Yep.
That's just a snap and right in the wall.
Yeah, that was just he felt the snap, overcorrect, and threw him over into the outside wall. Don't see that very often. Normally it's a little bit later, but you saw the car already was a little bit sideways going into the corner, and just could not hang on to it. And so that'll be a meatball. Fritz will have to come in. Gainer now also with a meatball. So the attrition's starting to pick up here in the later part of this race, as we see now Gainer with a meatball for an incident, I'm going to assume somewhere out on the track, and he'll have to come in and serve that as well. I don't think he'll be able to get that get to the end of the race without having to stop.
Fritz is into the pits. We'll see if Gainer comes in this time by 2. That's going to help Olsen as Olsen gets around Fritz, Carter, and Armbruster. Depending on how much time we left might be as Armbruster is now out. Oh, what a shame for our AM champion. Not able to finish the race, but still a commanding AM points lead going into this race. Really guaranteed that he would take this. And it looks like this final turn has caught out 3 drivers now in a row. As just a little bit of bump and boom, right in the wall.
Yeah, I've never seen that before, but he found it, unfortunately. And yeah, tough break, tough way to end the season with the meatball sitting in the pit lane. But I think still going to win the championship. So I guess there's worse ways to end things up. As we're on board here, still with that battle between Ahmad and Scott for third place overall. And you see Scott not relenting at all, and now with another blink by Ahmad there. as still having a little bit of connection issues. But Scott really, that's one of the most unnerving things that you can be doing, driving that close. As we see Scott now way wide and manages to get it slowed down enough to get through the chicane, but obviously he's 4 wheels over the curb there. And I'm going to say that's probably because of the blinks from a mod. It's just really unnerving, and you don't know where that car is going to pop back in. And it gives you a little bit of pause. You don't want to really be that close to them because you don't want to end up having them pop back in intermix with your car. And the next thing you know, you're both off the track somewhere into the wall.
So Kaiser last time by almost a full second faster than Ryan Goff. Let's see what he does this time by. 24-0 across the line, 23-9. So Goff thought, a little wiggle through 2 and 3. That's going to help out Kaiser big time as he works his way and closes a couple extra tenths. This race isn't over. I think that we're going to see one more battle for the lead here, but that's only going to help out Murray, who is 10 seconds behind the leader, about 1.5 seconds behind the battle for third place between Ahmad and Scott. Still, Murray is in a great place to win this title, albeit with just a handful of points.
Yep, that's absolutely. And 1 point's enough, and you see he's doing what he needs to do to win the championship, running there in 5th position. He's got Halsman closing the gap a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit, and Halsman up to 6th, and that's just from attrition from other cars. Has just done what he's needed to do, keep the car on the track, not having the fastest pace. Not normally what we would see from Halsman is you see Scott still just pushing for everything he's worth, trying to find a way around Ahmad as they're working their way through the final couple of corners here, and see if he can keep the pressure up and see if he can force Ahmad into a mistake, as they're just right on the line. They're perfect exit out of 14, and then the run back down the front stretch one more time.
Mistaken. I missed that there was only 1-0 for Murray, and that was at Sebring. Oh boy. So these points are a lot tighter than they are. So give me a second. With just 28 minutes into the race, we might actually have a different points leader right now.
Oh, all right. Well, we'll talk about the race while you're doing the calculations, and we'll keep our eye on the gap here between Goff and Kaiser is down to 3.6. So Kaiser is still closing the gap, but I think we're going to be white flagged next time by. So race is coming to an end quickly. I'm not sure Kaiser's got enough to make up that gap in a lap and a half, but we'll see. Once again, we've still got a few more corners to take, and this track has been very tricky for a lot of these cars, a lot of these drivers. Goff and Kaiser, obviously Kaiser led most of the race and made that one critical error through 14. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that we could have another swap for position up at the front, as Kaiser is now closing that gap down just a little bit more. So he's doing what he needs to do. As we have Campbell, as we're on board with Campbell, and we switch back up to the lead car. As there's still quite a battle there between Cortez, Campbell, and Walters there, running in P8 through P10. Those cars are still pretty tight together, as you can see in some lap traffic that they're having to work their way through. That's the 5 car of Alex Carter. They're having to work their way around, so they get through there cleanly, and still not much of a gap between separating those 3.
Yeah, well, Charles, here's the thing. Goff is your points leader now by about 12 points, entering into the drop. So Schmidt with a slowdown penalty. We're halfway through this final lap. Goff, though, 3.4 seconds. Ahmad with another blink. But nonetheless, Goff has pretty much done all he can to actually win this title, possibly. Kasha saying Chris might need to finish P8 or higher. Well, Chris only has 1-0. compared to Ryan Goff's 2 zeros. We'll confirm it with DRSCCA officials here, but by my calculation, Ryan Goff may be your champion, but nonetheless, coming around 14A into 15, he's done all he can, and where will the chips lie? We'll find out shortly. A little wiggle by Goff. Checkered flag is out. He is your winner, your possible champion, as well as Max Kaiser comes across the line 3.3 seconds ahead behind Max Goff. Zohair Ahmad rounds out your podium. Then it's Scott Murray rounding out your top 5.
Yeah, it was a great race, and you saw it was one mistake by Kaiser cost him the race, but it was enough mistake that he was not able to climb back up there. He did close the gap back down, so he did pick up a few seconds back to Goff, but just not enough time to get back up to the front. As Goff wins the race, Murray finishing in 5th, as you said. Great battle there from almost from start to finish between Ahmad and Scott. These guys really battled hard, and Ahmad did enough to stay in front by 0.2 of a second over Scott. It was a little bit further down. Halsman finishing in P6, Lotta finishing in 7th, Cortez in 8th, Joel Campbell finishing in 9th. Am driver gets the Am victory, I believe. And Gavin Walters rounding out your top 10. Smith, Olsen, Gaynor, and Carter. Fritz, Armbruster, Mertz, Woods, and Grayson will be your finishing order as we are waiting on Jackson Olsen to get around and take the checkered, and he has done so. So that is the final car to cross the start-finish line, and that is got everybody done and dusted for this season.
Okay, so we are trying to confirm the points title situation, but Ryan Goff right now your winner over Max Kaiser. Again, these are unofficial standings. 3.3 seconds separates Goff from Kaiser. Then Zohair Ahmad, Samuel Scott, Chris Murray, who was your points leader coming into the event, in 5th place. Eric Hall with a great showing into 6th. Brennan Lotta 7th, 8th Tristan Cortez, Joel Campbell 9th, and Charles rounding out your top 10 is Gavin Walters.
Yeah, Mike Smith finishing in 11th, Jackson Olsen in 12th. Last car on the lead lap, Sean Gaynor finishing in 13th. Alex Carter finishes 14th. Sean Fritz in 15th. Had a couple of issues during the race. Ethan Armbruster as well, finishing in 16th. Archie Woods in 17th. Josh Mertz in 18th. And William Grayson rounds out your 19 car finishing order. So great race. Obviously, very difficult track, but these guys in the front of this pack did a really good job. And you obviously saw that this track is not to be taken lightly. You really need to put a pack of lunch if you're going to race here.
I'm just going over my numbers, making sure I'm correct. And it looks like that if we are correct, we are waiting to hear from DRSCCA officials, but it does look like that provisionally you're depending if penalties don't fall through, it looks like. Actually, if they were doing the 141, okay. So we're also hearing 141, 139. Let me run through one more. And Charles, I'll have you go ahead and interview one of our drivers that we have into the interview room right now. And that is going to be your winner, Ryan Goff.
Yeah, we'll bring Ryan Goff in and have a chat with him. Talk about the race here, so we'll drag him up. There we go. Ryan, congratulations. Great victory tonight. Really put a lot of pressure on Kaiser. He finally made a mistake coming out of that final corner and gave you a chance to get by and take the race victory.
Yeah, I made a small mistake a couple laps prior. I lost about a second of time, but I knew I was faster in a couple places that I knew I was going to make the time up. I just had to be patient and drive clean. But as soon as I caught him again, I knew I was going to make a move on him eventually. But him getting out of the way into the last turn kind of made it a little easy for me. So pretty happy about that.
Yeah, absolutely. This so is how often have you ran Barber, and not necessarily in the F4 car, but just in general? It's once again, I said this is not the most well-used track in iRacing, but it's picked up over the last couple of seasons. So have you put a lot of laps in here?
Not a ton, especially not in the F4 car. I think the majority of racing I've done here so far has been the MX-5s. So making the transition, a lot of turns changed. So it's very different. So I kind of had to relearn the course again. But I've driven it plenty enough. I mean, I race all the time. It's mostly private. I don't do a ton of officials, but usually I've done pretty much every track on the service, I'd say, at this point. So I'm pretty comfortable everywhere.
There you go. So I think Jeremy is kind of working some points, and we'll figure it out.
I can fix that for you. Chris won.
Chris won.
I was gonna say, yeah, I just got it. Yeah, 141 Chris Murray to Ryan 139. Still, you guys both had a great showing this season. Basically going back and forth with who's going to be on the podium. So really not bad to have your first win though come out the last race of the season.
Yeah, unfortunately, I wish it would be me in the top spot, but I had a couple penalties push me down to a couple spots each race that I got them. So it's unfortunately my own fault, but something to look forward to next season. I've won in the past, so I know I can do it again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and this is why I always jokingly say I went to broadcast school and didn't become a mathematician. Regardless, Ryan, congratulations. A great season. Second place is pretty good to hang your hat on for the season.
I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
So, Ryan Goff, your vice champion here in the SUPERLAP F4 season, and yeah, we confirmed it. I ran through the numbers. I should have added them and taken off one of the drop races for Christopher Murray, but yeah, 141 Christopher Murray over 139 Ryan Goff. So, look, Ryan did everything he needed to do. He just was not able to, that last penalty at Snetterton really did him in.
Yeah, absolutely. You heard it. It's like, yeah, it's kind of my own fault. Shouldn't have got a couple of penalties during the season, but that's part of it. And but not often that we get a battle coming down to the 2 points for the championship in the last race, and then the guy that finishes second wins the race. So he did everything he possibly could do to close that gap. Just not enough, but. Great season. Once again, the SUPERLAP guys put on a great show week in and week out. Love having the DRSCCA involved, and all their sponsors. And once again, I also have to thank Alexa for filling in while I was getting the European flu 2 weeks ago. So I do appreciate that as well. But it's been a great season. I always enjoy calling these races. And can't wait to see what's in store for next season.
Yeah, let's see what's in store for next season. And really, my first season of the Detroit region SUPERLAP F4 was absolutely fantastic. I enjoyed it. Hopefully, we'll be able to do it again, and they won't say, yeah, no, we're not going to have a Chicago kid do our races. So, on behalf of Waterford Hills Road Racing, Michigan Turn Marshals, DRSCCA, SUPERLAP as well, Jonathan Grabowski back in the truck, making it sound oh so good and look so good. And my partner, Charles Bochelle, of course, Alexa Marshall, want to thank you for being a part of this series as well. My name is Jeremy Scott. Once again, congratulations to our champions in the pro class, Christopher Murray and Ethan Armbruster in the AM class. Remember, keep it pointed forward, keep it between the ditches, and always keep it greasy side down. We'll see you next time here on Apex Racing TV.